Hey, what is up guys? It is your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be watching ILTW's Monkey King and breaking it down. This is a hero that's been getting hyped up quite a bit. Its Aghanim Shard is very cool, lets you tree dance all over the place, and he's going to be buying the new Blightstone item, right? The one that, what is it called? Orb of Corrosion. It gives you 150 HP, slows, and reduces armor by 3. For all of you who might be saying, well, Speed, I would never buy Oov and Blightstone and HP in the past. Well, the problem with doing that is number 1, it takes up slots, and number 2, when you buy Orb of Corrosion, it actually gives you 25 more HP than it usually would, which is, I mean, alright, sure. And it gives you 1 more armor reduction, which actually is a big deal. Blightstone gives 2 reduction, Orb of Corrosion gives 3. Keep that in mind. And yeah, it's a good Monkey King item. The hero loves all of those things. Like, it's actually such a good item on him. So yeah, we're gonna be talking about Monkey King, so smash the like button and subscribe, as well as get a gameleap sub. Otherwise, I'm gonna feel greatly disappointed. I will be very let down if you guys don't get a gameleap sub. I will. So please do that for me. On top of that, as we get into the laning stage, this hero has had quite a few changes. The last patch, well, this recent patch, he got a bunch of armor. Well, no, I'm not. Okay, he got 1 armor. He got 1 armor, he got the new shard, and now this hero is sitting at a insane, and this is legitimately insane, an insane 6 armor. 6. This hero used to have 0. Like, I remember the days when if you went on Monkey King in a rune fight, he would just die instantly. Now, funny enough, I actually get thrown off by it because I'll go on the Monkey King, I'll expect him to die, and all of a sudden he's just the tankiest hero in Dota. Like, literally, this hero has 305 movement speed, which is pretty dang solid, and 6 armor. It's just I don't know, it's just so crazy. So yeah, all in all, this hero is very powerful. By the way, take Boundless to level 1. I don't know if anyone has ever told you this, but the E is extremely miserable now at level 1. It's just underwhelming. If you have your Q, it's not too bad, right? But you need level 2 for that. So yeah, take Boundless Strike at level 1 and secure the range creep with it. Now in this laning stage he has here, it's a pretty hard one. The enemy team has 2 heroes that run away from Monkey King. So you might be saying, well, what do you do in these lanes? Well, the main thing you look to do is you look to find the Wind Ranger after she's committed Wind Run. That's actually quite an easy kill. And then other than that, you're just gonna pull a lot of creep aggro, really. Like, that's about it. Also, the Murano and AFK. What a nice guy. What a nice guy, guys. Everyone, clap it up for ILTW. He saw the Murano win AFK and he proceeded to pause. I'm clapping for him. You guys can't tell me to stop. I'm gonna clap for him. And really, what we're watching here, where he's just playing the lane super defensive, is the reason why Monkey King is a significantly better hero now. The hero in the past, if you didn't pick him into, like, Underlord, was miserable. It would feed. But now, it's very versatile. It still does very well against your Underlords. However, it can lane against your Muranas and your Nature's Prophets, right? So basically, this hero is actually one of the best laners in all of Dota. It's crazy for me to say that, because in the past, it was very niche. Now, it's always the case. Also, keep in mind, he goes for a very interesting skill build. I've been seeing this quite a bit. And basically with the Orb of Corrosion, if you get on top of a hero that has no disengage, it's almost impossible, basically impossible for them to get away. The tree dance slow is very high. At level 2, it's 40%, right? Doubles. And so yeah, the spell is incredibly good at level 2, and you'll see that come into play throughout the game. Alright, so the next thing I want to discuss is his skill build and his game plan. So why is he maxing out the W, okay? I did say that the slow is good and that it's going to help him get kills at some point in the game, which it will. But the big thing for it is basically he has to say, okay, when is my hero good at fighting? With Jingu, right? When is my hero good at fighting with Jingu? My hero is good at fighting with Jingu when there's a bunch of melee heroes I can easily build stacks on. This game, not really. All these heroes are pretty hard to lock down. Wraith King has a stun, Ember is Ember, Wind Ranger is Wind Ranger, Mirana's leaps. You know, even Coddle is quite fast. He steals your movement speed, and so all in all, it's not a great game for him to just run around and fight. He's much better off waiting for good engagements, right? Looking to counter gank engagements, which Tree Dance is quite good at, and farming, right? Monkey King scales well. It's okay to farm with this hero. I think a lot of people forget that, because the hero used to just be like Rambo and just fight all the time, but now that's not the case. He even TP's mid here. He says, okay, I have no interest in laning against Mirana anymore. Rightfully so. It gets to the point where Mirana's Starfall is obnoxious for Monkey King to play against. You know, magic damage is obviously the counter to Monkey King. And so, yeah, you want to avoid it at all costs, so he TP's mid, which in this case ends up being a good idea, as his mid laner was spending quite a bit of time rotating. Why is that? Well, his mid laner is a Void Spirit. Anytime you have a mid laner in your team that can actually rotate, it's good for you to take the mid lane, because they'll create space in a different lane, you can shift to mid, and you can farm to mid. The only thing you have to keep in mind if you are going to make this play is you need to make sure the enemy mid laner doesn't easily kill you or pressure you, right? Does Ember easily pressure Monkey King? Not really, right? And therefore, it's a good game for him to go mid. Next up, let's take a quick little sneak peek into how effective the W actually is for killing people. In this fight here, he stuns the Ember. The Coddle, fortunately for him, didn't walk out of the E range. And because of that, he's able to get a max duration slow, 80% slow onto the Coddle, and easily with the Orb of Corrosion kills him. And that's with only level 1 Jingu. So that goes to show you really don't need more than 1 point in Jingu to kill supports or, you know, the squishy heroes in the early game. Now, what is the next item he's going to be going? You guessed it. I'm kidding. There's no chance you guessed it. It's Midas. Yes, Midas. Can you believe there's a day where Monkey King is buying Midas? Because personally, I can't. But yeah, this hero buys Midas now. For the same reasons I said before. It's not a great Monkey King game for him to run around and constantly fight. And so he's optimizing for that. And that's what I love the most in Dota. You don't always have to do the same item build, as long as you commit to what your build does. And it's not that he can't fight with this Midas. He's still a 1400 HP hero with very, useful spells. He has his maxed out W and nearly maxed out Q, but he's going to spend quite a bit of time farming. You can see here he's going to shift to the top side of the map instead of showing up to the mid fight. I think a lot of players would have showed up to the mid fight, but once again, just to really stress how important it is to stick to your game plan and stick to your item build, his item build is not designed on taking fights under enemy towers. It's designed to take fights under his towers or just split push. By the way, one more thing I'd like to mention about Monkey King when it comes to this specific game is that I think Monkey King is a very good hero against Wraith King. The reason why I say that is Wraith King doesn't tend to buy BKB until later into the game, and Wraith King doesn't have mobility, and because of that, your ultimate is very good against him. You kill the Wraith King once because you man up to him, and then he has a very hard time getting out of your ulti, right? You can actually die twice inside of your ulti, and so that's why I'm a huge fan of this matchup. Now you might be saying, why does that, that's so niche. Well, with how popular I think Wraith King is going to become, frankly, it's good to have these response picks. And I'm going to make a video soon talking about counter picks to all the meta heroes, but yeah, I think this is definitely a good one to keep in mind. Next up, I'd like to discuss how to fight with Monkey King pre-BKB. This is a very important concept because a lot of people kill themselves as Monkey King because they assume that their hero is this, frontliner. You're not. You're not a frontliner. I see this all the time, though. People really, initiate with Monkey King because they're like, oh, I gotta build Jingu. But then you just die because magical damage spells shred you. Until you have a BKB, which I highly recommend you buy after your DPS item. In fact, I'm a huge fan of buying the items that he buys this game, which is Orb of Corrosion, Midas Diffusal, and the BKB. Until you get that BKB, it's very difficult, very, very difficult for you to actually initiate. So instead, you want heroes on your team that can do that, such as Spirit Breaker, Void Spirit, and Sword of Enigma. Even Enigma is very similar to Monkey King, where he wants to go in second. And you see in this fight here, because his team initiates, it sets up for a beautiful black hole, and that black hole sets up for a really nice Monkey King ulti. Another thing to keep in mind that I didn't mention earlier is every monkey can apply Orb of Corrosion, which is another reason why this is an extremely good combination, and in my opinion is I'm not going to say a must buy, but is a very good buy on Monkey King. Upcoming here, I want to show a good example of why Monkey King counters Wraith King, and I obviously said it earlier, but yeah, they go onto the Wraith King. Big important thing here is where he jumps. He actually jumps behind the Wraith King. Even though he is BKB, you still don't want to frontline, right? You don't want to take the chance of getting arrowed or bursted, right? You just don't get bursted as Monkey King. Your hero does a ton of damage. Just don't frontline, okay? That's a big tip. So he goes in here, builds Jingu, doesn't ulti right away. I think they felt like they could have killed the Wraith King. Now, I think he ends up realizing that he probably should have ultied right away just to protect the Enigma. Nonetheless, he drops it now. They kill the Wraith King, and obviously, as you could expect, well, the Wraith King is stuck in a Monkey King ulti, and frankly, that's not going to end too well for him, and doesn't end too well for him. However, once the Wraith King actually dies and his BKB is ending, you can see him immediately disengage. I think a lot of players here would fall into the trap of saying, okay, the fight was going well for me, but the problem is, 2 of his teammates are dead, right? They don't have Black Hole, 2 of his teammates are dead, he has no BKB, no ulti, no stun, he had nothing, so he backs out. I know that might seem simple, but I think a lot of players just need a quick reminder, and frankly, I do too. Sometimes I initiate when I have no spells up, or I go back in, or I try to turn the fight, and it's just not worth it. Next up, let's talk about the talents. He takes basically the standard talents. At level 10, you take 20 attack speed. At 15, you take Tree Dance, cast range. 20, you take Boundless Strike crit. The only one I would potentially disagree with is the Boundless Strike crit. I think a lot of games, the Primal Spring damage is incredible. The ability to one-shot creep waves without having to use your stun is very nice, it's very convenient, and frankly, it's a lot of damage in team fights. So, yeah, I think this is one that Personally, I would take the other one most of the time, but hey, he's the pro carry player, so if you want to trust him instead of speed, I totally understand, guys. I get it. Alright, I get it. Now, as we can see here in this fight, he does have an Aegis, so he's going to start going Rambo, playing very aggressive, and you can see why this matchup is actually so good. Now, to be fair, Wraith King is not having his best game. He's 1-7. Funny enough, he's 1-7, and yet he still has 15,000 net worth, which is always a sign of a high MR player. No matter how hard they're feeding, they'll still find net worth. There's no excuse, guys, to not be farmed. I bet this guy being 1-7 farms more or gets more net worth than the average 2K player that is 3 or 4-0. And I mean that. But nonetheless, let's get into this. You're going to see here the power of building net worth, this Midas build, and all the split pushing he's done. 350 CS at the 31-minute mark. Keep that in mind. That's all while having 13 assists and 5 kills. He's been incredibly active, which is what the 475 tree dance cast range actually does. It lets you kind of fight and farm at the same time. But yeah, now look at the power of the net worth and the basher he's picked up. He just straight up mans up to this Wraith King. Pretty insane, actually, here. I didn't actually think he'd be able to do this, but he did. Even stunts up the Wraith King and kills him quite quickly. Ember gets bashed up as well. He tries to chase him down. Great shackle onto the Mirana. And yeah, your hero's just kind of like, I don't know, right now, it just seems like to me that Monkey King, it's not broken. It's definitely not a broken hero. It's far from broken. But it's in this place right now where it's just solid. Only thing I really want to stress, and I said it before, but I do want to stress it again, make sure you have heroes that initiate. If you are the only melee hero on your team, you're going to struggle. It's going to be very hard to hit good ultis, because a lot of Monkey King players where they fall short is they go in first, they lead in with their Q, then their E, and then they can't even keep anyone inside of their ultimate. And frankly, it's a disaster. Now, the last thing I want to get into is talking about sieging towers. You may have noticed, well, you know, considering you didn't watch the entire game, probably didn't notice, but he didn't siege like a single tower. Just keep that in mind. Monkey King just hates doing that. You just die most of the time. It's slow and you die. It's not good. And so the only time you should hit towers is if you're like specifically protected for whatever reason, or you have an Aegis. Even if you have Aegis, you need to be very, very, very careful. Even in this clip here, you're gonna notice his BKB actually gets forced. He pops it here to try to secure the Ember kill, which he does. To be honest, like, I think he didn't have to use it there. It's probably a bit of a preemptive BKB that was a bit unnecessary. But nonetheless, he gets gone on, and because he has Aegis, he actually can go high ground. Pfft. What was all that damage? What was that? I actually... What the... What just... Arrow, Power Shot, Starfall, Starfall. Okay. He just got hit by every magical damage spell in the book. They all got thrown onto him. But he's going to switch his treads back into his inventory, and you know, this is the power of the Aegis. The enemy team commits in really hard. Because they commit in really hard, he can hit a very nice balance. I actually felt like he had an opportunity for a 3-man balance there that he unfortunately missed. But Wraith King gets a little bit stuck in the ultimate. Honestly, this fight ends up not being the best. Oh, great charge by the Spirit Breaker, followed up by a 2-man balance. They take the tower. He's very, very strong at this point. Got the Satanic. Gets gone on here. Pops the Satanic, though. You thought he was going to die. You thought wrong. Ends up living. And yeah, that's going to be the end of the game. Make sure you optimize your builds like this. After you go your DPS items, your Ags and your Diffusal and your BKB. Yes, BKB is a DPS item to some extent. Pick up that Satanic, Scotty or Abyssal. Depends on the game. If the enemy team doesn't have this much mobility, you can go Scotty, but they do. So he wants an Abyssal this game. Very reasonable. And yeah, thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys. I hope you appreciate me. And let me know in the comment section down below what you want to see next. What videos do you want to see? What heroes do you want to see talked about? I do read them. I do try to take ideas. Obviously, I cannot take everyone's idea. That would be frankly impossible. But I'll see you in the next one. Peace. And we've been waiting a lifetime for this patch. Speaking of lifetime, gameleap is currently doing a $50 off sale on their lifetime sub. So if you're looking for thousands of videos and new daily content every day, you can get a lifetime sub for $50 off right now. This is a special we're doing for the new patch to celebrate. So click the link down below, sign up now. You won't regret it. It's quite a large discount. So I really recommend that you guys take advantage of it, and I'll see you there.